All three Beards Media podcasts originate from the Gravitate Co-working Studio, sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company.
All right, welcome back to In the Side of the Storm, where we talk all things Cyclones. We are coming to you live from the Gravitate Co-working Studios and sponsored today by Revelton Distillery out of Osceola, Iowa. You know, eventually I'll get this opening straight and clear and clean. I'm Dave Larson here with my Storm team partner and Cyclone great Marcus Spicer. Hopefully we'll have Brent Dave joining us here shortly. Marcus, how are you there in sunny Las Vegas?
It's not too sunny. It's not too sunny. The temperature has dropped out here. You know, as you guys said, the very white voice is going. It's going in and out. It's just, you know, that time of year when it nosedives, and I'm talking about, 7 to 8 degrees. It's, it was 49 the other day, and this 49 is a different from when it's typically hot and the temperature drops to 49. So, man, it's a big difference. It's been cloudy. It's been cloudy the last couple of days, so the sun is not peeking through. And, man, I'm telling you, that little 7 degrees. I know to you guys it's like, 30 to 40 degrees difference of a temperature change for you to make a difference. But here, man, something small can change, how everyone's feeling.
That's right. We're probably time dating this a little bit because today we received anywhere between 10 and 12 inches of snow and have some 0-degree temperatures forecasted for the weekend. So don't really throw us your pity party with your 40-degree temperatures because
right?
we're just not having it today. All right. So since the last time, I thought we could go ahead and put a bow on the football season. Cyclones lost in the Liberty Bowl against Memphis. Marcus, in our last episode, we went through each of the New Year's Six bowls and along with the Liberty Bowl. Believe it or not, I did not get a commitment from you for the Sugar Bowl, but you went 6-0. Congratulations on the bowl picks. I went 4-3. I guess come to Marcus Spicer if you ever wanting to make bets, which probably makes sense since you're sitting there in Vegas and have all the insights on how these games are going to be played out in the future. Congratulations, Marcus.
well, coming from someone who doesn't know how to bet at all, I couldn't tell you what a money line is, what a plus minus is, and none of that. I have a lot of friends that, know and understand that. And so when they ask me questions about sports and games, they know I'm giving them the genuine answer about how I feel about the games because, I'm not losing any money. I don't have any money on the line. So, man, I get text messages all the time. And then, I get back to them 10 minutes, 15 minutes later. And they like, man, I already put in the bet. It's like, well, my bad.
So as long as there's no money on the line, Marcus is your guy. 6-0 for this bowl season. Congratulations. And since that time, too, our friend Brock Purdy, it was announced that he was named the Pro Bowl starter quarterback for the NFC. Congratulations to Brock.
Yes, sir.
And the 49ers find themselves as the number 1 seed in the NFC in the playoffs. So they get the bye week this week. Any predictions or early predictions, Marcus, since you're on that streak? Any predictions on who goes to the Super Bowl?
My predictions of the Super Bowl of who going. I really like the Ravens. I've liked them since early on in the season, through the ups and downs. I just really like Lamar Jackson. I think, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does because of so many dynamic things that he does. So I don't think he gets enough credit. I think that the defense is playing extremely well. This is the time of the season where, teams play, defenses show up and you just never know what's going to happen. On the other side, I'm kind of scared of that 49ers Cowboys collision this time. I think, the 49ers played them so well the first time they matched up that the second time, it's once you see that opponent again, it's hard to beat an opponent twice in a year. And then once you've gotten this far and it's for all the marbles, that's always going to be a dangerous game. But contrary to a lot of belief of, friends, family, fans or whatever that think I'm not a Cowboys fan, I root for, Dak. Dak is from Louisiana, North Louisiana. And, I want him to have success. I just want them to get to a point to where they have the success and get there and just, get past this is our year, every year thing.
Well, sometimes our best conversations are offline and we don't have the opportunity to be on this show, but I'm a Cowboys homer, and my first memory was in that 81 NFC Championship game. We all remember Montana to Clark. Completely broke my heart because I was a huge Danny White fan, and I fully expected the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. That started the streak of the 49ers Super Bowls and the Cowboy demise until the early 90s with Jimmy Johnson's arrival. So at this point, I don't trust the Cowboys yet, but I would be happy if the Cowboys and Ravens made it. I would be happy with 49ers as well. Again, Brock Purdy's our guy, so I would love to see him in the Super Bowl. That system quarterback that he is.
Yeah, you will be the anomaly for a Cowboys fan to to say you don't trust them, but expect them to win each and every game every time they step out on the field. But like I said, I want them to have that success. You're one of the rare people that was alive the last time that they won. My oldest son is 25 years old, and he's a diehard Cowboys fan. And I tell him, I said, son, you wasn't even living when the last time you guys won the championship. So,
I don't know what to make of that comment about being alive. That hurts. Ouch. Brent Curvey, Big Play, how are you?
I'm good, it's been a while. How are you? Happy New Year's and all the fun stuff.
You've had some recent announcements in your household. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, man.
Would you like to share the news with the audience?
Oh, just,
tell us a little bit about
it. The son committed to Kansas. So I guess I have to say rock chalk only when I'm in Lawrence, Kansas. Any other time, it'll be, it's the Cyclone Nation, on this side. But yeah, man. So I don't have to pay for school. So I'm
more importantly.
I'm all about it, man.
There was a great article that was There's a great article in the Register that outlined Malachi's decision and thought process behind it. From a dad's perspective, I know your heart, where your heart is with Iowa State, but what was it like to go through these steps with your son and trying to identify what was the best fit and where he wanted to go, having that little bias on that shoulder of Iowa State?
I mean, it's one of those things where, obviously I went through it a long time ago, but still had some experience about it and still got a lot of friends that coach. And so, just kind of gathering knowledge along the way and just passing it on to him so that he understands ultimately it's up to him to kind of build his own legacy. So, I had my time. I always say, and I'm sure Marcus, you'll attest to this, going to AAU tournaments, and you see a lot of parents that are acting crazy at their kids at 9, 10 years old about how they're going to the NBA. They're going to do all these things. But I just always said, I don't want to be the dad that lives vicariously through their kids. Like, I had a great career. I have my own little pro career, so I'm good. So whatever my kids do, that's on them. And I just want to make sure I'm a big supporter of it. So that was just kind of the mindset was, at the end of the day, it's you that has to spend the time there. We're just going to watch out for what's real and what's not. Taught them all about car salesmen and the BS that comes along with it. But, get the genuine conversations, the guys that really ask questions about you, what's going on with you, your family, the whole nine. And that's where he found a home at Kansas. And, I second his decision. It was a good decision. I think it's the best fit for him.
Well, again, congratulations. We're really happy for you. We're happy for Malachi and for your family and that he's found that fit. And we can cheer him on, just not when they play the Cyclones.
That's it. So I said, I got to find somebody to make me one of those split jerseys because I still gotta represent my Iowa State stuff. But
so anybody listening or watching that wants to put together a split KU Iowa State jersey, hook you up, right?
All for it. That's it.
So we're just getting started. We're talking a little bit about trying to put a bow on the Iowa State football season. What letter grade do you put on this season? The team went through a lot this year in terms of all of the sports betting and the allegations and injuries and not knowing who was going to play, and that early loss to Ohio ultimately turned it around, ended up in the Liberty Bowl. While the game itself didn't turn out quite like we would have hoped, we had lost a couple of players due to one in particular was due to the sitting out for the draft. What letter grade would you guys put on this Cyclone football season?
I mean, I give them a B. Given all the, we had a lot of really good things happen, and we had some adversities happen early on. Like I said early on, man, you had to give the guys a little bit of time to kind of get used to the game, the flow of the game, and all of that stuff. And I think they showed a lot of upside. So I personally give them a B.
What about you, Marcus?
Well, I would say a solid C plus, B minus. I think, had we not lost so many guys, to the reasons of sitting out and things like that, and we would have had a better showing in the Liberty Bowl. That could have been a solid B plus, to what we rebounded from at the beginning of the year, but, not to get that victory. I'm not going to lie, really, really hurt. I tuned in and we were down big, and I was like, oh, man, this is not what I expected. So to not get that one in, at the end of, this season was very heartbreaking.
Would a win in that Liberty Bowl change your grades at all?
Yes.
I mean,
because that's to me that's the cap off to the season.
I mean, I think for me, I would have kept it the same because I don't know, the bowl game now it's so different. Just how guys do the bowl stuff. Back again when I played, everybody played, so you were always at full strength no matter what. And now it's like so many teams don't dress guys. A lot of the redshirt freshmen play, from opposite teams and stuff. So I don't know. Obviously, I would have liked to have seen a better showing, but at the end of the day, it's kind of that's how everybody is. Unless you're in the playoffs, kids are just along for the ride. Now, you know what I mean, in the ball game.
Yeah.
So
I'll be interested to see how everything plays.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It'll be interesting next year to see how things play out in terms of the 12 game or the 12-team playoff and what teams are going to be asked to play. I'm really curious as to how the Pac-12 is going to play out, because technically I believe that the Pac-12, those two teams, Washington State and Oregon State, can still represent the Pac-12 in whatever seeding comes into play. They've got a 2-year window to get themselves back up to 8 or 10 teams in order to keep that relevancy. So all eyes are going to be on, I think, the NCAA football. Then EA Sports comes out with their gaming, I think, in 2025. I saw some scuttle last night on Twitter that wouldn't it be something if they released NCAA 2024 immediately following the game last night with Michigan versus Washington. I think that would have been a lot of fun. So
yeah, that would have been a money maker.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I've been jumping in.
That
Bringing
definitely would have
Brent
been a money
Dave back into the defensive line.
Yeah. Only on the video game. That's the only place.
Right. Marcus should have been my tight end for sure.
That's it.
Hey,
so
put me in, Coach.
Next year's home schedule, we've got Baylor, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, UCF, which I think that's a game for me I'll be really looking forward to. And then Big 12 games on the road. We play Houston, Utah, Kansas, and West Virginia, of course. The 3 early games, North Dakota, who we've played before. We've actually struggled with them, I think, a couple of years ago. That team out east, and then Arkansas State rounds out the pre-Big 12 schedule. So looking forward to that one. Since we last spoke to the women's team, Coach Fennely, 600 wins at Iowa State. For him, there was a lot of activity on Twitter. Pretty much all the players seem like they just love Coach Fennely and what he's done. And I think we all have. They had literally 100 people at their first game or at his first game, and now they are filling Hilton Coliseum for most of the women's games. Addie Brown has just stepped up as a freshman. It's hard to believe that she's just a freshman, and now the women are 3-0 on the season. I'm not sure if you guys have caught it, but boy, if you haven't, women's team are must-see TV. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they've been like that for years, and everyone knows I've said it before. He's definitely, to me, the GOAT coach of Iowa State athletics. I told him, and I've said before, like, he made me better as a player, and he didn't even coach me. Just how good our women's team was, and wanted to be able to represent Iowa State men's basketball as the women team were representing Iowa State basketball. It made me want to be better. Like, you can't be, your counterparts in basketball can't be so much better than you, and you're not competing also. So literally, he made me be better as a player to want to elevate to the level of what he had our women's basketball teams to. And I mean, I owe for a de facto coach of mine, I owe a gratitude of respect and thankfulness to Coach Fennely, without a doubt.
Men's team are also off to a promising start. So as of tonight, we're playing Houston and Hilton, and so we're not going to let the cat out of the bag of what's going on, but it's currently going on. So put that on pause while you watch or listen to In the Side of the Storm. Men are 11-3. Lost to Oklahoma over the weekend. Brent, did you see anything in terms of scheme or anything within the offense or defensive side of the ball that gives you some optimism for the remaining Big 12 schedule?
Man, I'd be lying if I told you I've been paying attention to anything, because I've been heavily medicated. I had my hip replaced. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm glad I'm here. But
that's a big news.
I'm kind of in and out of things. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say I followed a ton of sports. I kind of pop in when I can, but I'm right now. I'm terrible. Anything pre-Christmas, all about it. Yeah. After it, I don't have much in the tank. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Godspeed with that, bro.
Yeah, man.
I've heard that's a pretty big deal. I had one of my coworkers who played basketball in Indiana, played some pro ball and things overseas. He's a couple years older than me, about 10, 11 years older than me. He had both of his hips redone. But he said that, just like Shannon Sharp, he was like, man, once it's done, it's like the best thing ever. But he said, like, it was pretty tough, going on initially.
Yeah, just trying to, I'm moving around fine. I called myself trying to work, and I ended up, I left my front door unlocked at my shop. That just goes to show how mentally out of it I've been trying to, lock up, do everything, thinking I can do everything. But, pain kicks in, you forget a lot of stuff. So,
right.
What's that? So, Brent, what's that surgery like? and the recovery like? Then do they get you up pretty much right away then to get you active and get the blood flowing?
Yeah. There's no such thing as free coaches, kolaches, Chris. You're tripping. We got to keep the doors open. But
everybody's gonna be walking by at night now, trying that door to see if they can get in and grab some food.
Yeah, I won't make that mistake again. But yeah, they get you up right away. I think they did a spinal anesthesia, and lady was talking to me. She said, "You ought to feel like you had a good cocktail." I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I do." And then I don't remember anything else after that. But
wow,
yeah, it was, it was good, man. Been upright and moving and progressing pretty well. It's like a 6-week recovery. You kind of basically did incision on the front instead of the side, which is kind of the traditional way, which is a little older, took a little longer to recover. This front side is a lot quicker. So I think I'm moving around pretty good now. But it's just got to remind myself to slow down because I work a lot and I'm always on the go. So having to walk really slow and do things, it's a learning process.
Especially now with that snow and ice, I bet you look out at that and think, I'm not touching that.
Man, I was actually shoveling the driveway not too long ago. So
wow.
It's part of the reason I'm a little late. I just, really slow. Took my time. My mom wouldn't let me do it on my own. So she was outside with me shoveling snow. She shouldn't. She's a Texas lady, so she's not too fond of it, but she'll get out there and get her hands dirty here and there.
Good job, Mom. Marcus, anything you've seen out of in that loss to Oklahoma and even yet thus far through the season?
I missed that Oklahoma game. Don't necessarily know why I did. I don't know. I probably wasn't focused or thinking about. I don't know. It may have been football games that I was focused on. Hey, we know it's my favorite, but so that's actually news to me that they lost that game. But the Houston game is on now. Marcus Jr. is over here watching it. I'm peeping, looking at it every once in a while. So definitely looking forward to getting to the rest of that. But we've this is the first real test. Losing to Oklahoma was a test, and obviously we failed that one. So this game right here is definitely going to be the next one, and it's going to formulate how the rest of the season is going to go. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, it's pretty clear that TJ, we talked a little bit about this before, that he's been tweaking and playing around with different players just to see what his lineups are going to look like. And it seems like he's got his rotation for the most part set. And having Hassan Ward back has been, and I know, Marcus, you love those big guys. So having him back, I think, is going to make a difference. And against Oklahoma, we struggled really just making shots. Perimeter defense probably was not as strong as I think TJ would have liked to have seen, but I think if we can knock down some shots, and thus far, even against Houston, what I saw early, we were making those shots and cranked up the defense, and that's always a recipe for success at Hilton Coliseum.
Yeah, definitely big bias. Yeah, definitely big bias. Trey King for MVP. For president. That's my young fella, but definitely
you're caucusing next week for Trey King for president too, huh?
It's it starts with the interior. It starts with bottling up the middle. Anytime teams can, everyone wants to get middle because it causes havoc. So if you can protect that paint, limit them to one shot, no middle, stop them from getting inside of the paint, then there's going to be a lot of problems. So that's the biggest thing, dealing with the bigs. And, it starts out front with the guards, but, us bigs have to be, the last line of barrier to protect the rim. And like I said, limit them to one shot, get it off the rim and go.
Well, and turnovers seem to be the big piece for Iowa State as well. And that defensive pressure. And we didn't have quite as many turnovers forced against Oklahoma. Tonight against Houston by halftime, we had forced 12 turnovers, and Houston doesn't really turn over the ball, so that was obviously good to see. One question I guess I have for you, and Brent, maybe you could go first, but from a scorer perspective, we seem to have scorers around the court, and they all do things a little bit differently. But do we have that go-to guy that you just need a bucket? that just to stop a drought or in a key moment of the game, do we have that one-on-one player that could do that? I don't know that we do necessarily. I think we've got a bunch of teams that can't, or a bunch of players that can score. I don't know that we have that go-to assassin. I trust Tame and Lipsy with the ball to get it to somebody. I just don't know that who that person is that you give it to at the top of the key that will score from a consistent standpoint.
Well, me personally, for 4.5, 5 years coaching against Keyshawn Gilbert here in Las Vegas, I saw a lot of early flashes of him being able to do that. I don't know if it's a different road for him at Iowa State. If that's something that he has to progress into at Iowa State, but the kid has been an assassin for years here, tormenting the AAU teams that I've coached. So I've known him since he was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So he got an older brother that played with him as well, and they've always been tough kids. And he shows flashes of what he can do. He played at UNLV, which is a smaller program than what Iowa State is. So maybe the roles are a little bit different, and maybe he's getting comfortable with progressing on to that. So I'm looking forward to him doing some of the things that I've seen him do as a kid, and hopefully in the Big 12 championship. I mean, in the Big 12 conference, once that began, he'll be able to get more opportunities and looks for that.
You kind of see Lipsy always come alive in kind of bigger games, but I just don't know if he's the guy that just right now we need a bucket. Let's go. All right, go fill it up. I don't know if he's that guy yet, but from the outside looking in, it kind of seems like we need that guy. I don't know who that is yet, and I think that's because they're young in spots. They're still trying to figure out who that go-to person is.
Yeah, I agree. I like a lot of the players. There seems to be a lot of pieces of the puzzle that can get the job done. It's just that in prior years we have that one guy that you give the ball to and get out of the way. They're gonna take it to the rim. They're gonna shoot it and score, and you can count on that. We either don't have that person yet, or we just haven't seen that develop for this particular team. And as we know, watching teams, just whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, sometimes it takes some time to gel and for each person to take on that role and accept that and everyone to become comfortable with it. So hopefully we will see that here shortly. So we're going to take a quick break. Here, a word from our sponsor from Revelton Distillery.
Why take the best corn in the world and make it into fuel when you could make it into whiskey? That's the question that launched Revelton, Iowa's most visible and fastest growing distillery. Owners Rob and Christy Taylor embrace the grain-to-glass philosophy, sourcing ingredients locally and overseeing on-premises production and bottling at their facility in Osceola. One sip, and you'll agree that Revelton's handcrafted whiskeys, gins, and vodkas are the best you've ever tasted. And with the launch of their rye whiskey, made with 100% Iowa-grown rye and corn, and their new bourbon coming soon, there's more Revelton to love than ever. Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. The great thing about working from home is working from home. The worst thing is working from home, especially for face-to-face collaborations with customers and coworkers. And let's face it, coffee shop meetings are neither private nor professional. So skip the trip to Starbs and investigate Gravitate Co-working Space. For more than 10 years, Gravitate has provided large and small office and conference spaces perfect for hosting meetings, workshops, or other events, as well as private phone booths for confidential conversations. Plus, all spaces include secure fiber internet, free coffee, and access to a kitchenette. All you need is your laptop. Gravitate does the rest. And renting space at Gravitate is surprisingly affordable. An hour of office space costs about the same as venti caramel macchiatos and breakfast sandwiches for two. Daily and monthly rates are also available with no long-term commitment. Learn more at gravitatecoworking.com. That's gravitatecoworking.com.
All right, welcome back. We certainly appreciate our sponsors. It's important to have them supporting us, and so we want to support them. And as you're out and about, getting your winter weather gear in place, consider stopping by and grabbing that bottle or two of Revelton to get you through. I think we've got another mini storm coming through on Friday, so here in the next day or so, make sure you stop out to your local grocer, and if they don't have a Revelton, ask for it. I know when Chris and I were down in Memphis, we were doing some sampling and asked for some folks to don't forget about Revelton in their local stores, wherever they're coming from. Brent and Marcus, question for you, and I think this actually came up on the broadcast tonight against Houston, but of the following point guards, and Marcus, I'm not going to let you choose Jamal Tinsley, but we've had some really good point guards run the show at Iowa State. So of these 5 point guards, who's the one that you would choose to start a team with? Okay. So we got Jeff Hornacek, who took the Cyclones to the Sweet 16, had a long NBA career as well, and even coached in the NBA. Jamal Tinsley, of course. Marcus, you're not allowed to choose Jamal, though. Monte Morris, Tyrese Halliburton, and then Tamin Lipsey, who is off to a good start. Last year, I think believe it or not, he only he made 5 3-point shots, and I think already this season he shot and made 22. So he's off to a much better start this year than he did last year. So of those 5 point guards, Brent, do you have one that you would start your all Iowa State Cyclone basketball team with?
I don't know. I'll say I personally watched a lot of Iowa State basketball when Monte was there, so I'd probably have to go Monte. I'll go Monte. But I mean, I really like what Halliburton did too. But I go Monte.
All right, Marcus. I deliberately told you not to pick Jamal because I am pretty certain you would pick him anyway because he was a teammate and he did a lot for your team. So of the remaining of Hornacek, Morris, Halliburton, and Lipsey, who would you then choose?
I probably would go with Monte Tinsley. I mean Monte Morris.
Monte Tinsley.
Just the things that he did. the things that he did at Iowa State, just the poise that he had, his assist to turnover ratio, having that guy out on the floor that you could trust that was going to, make the right play. Guard play is very, very important. Get you into the defense as well as the offense. That's the most important thing that a lot of people don't understand. It's not about just running the ball club on the offensive end. It's about running the ball club on both ends of the court. Mm-hmm. And just his poise, I would have loved to, play with him if it wasn't Jamal Tinsley and, just be the recipient of a lot of those passes that he was making. And just knowing that, when my back is turned to him because I'm setting the screen or something like that, it's not going to be a turnover. We see a lot of it in Tamin that he's learning. And it's not even about being a superstar or anything like that, as loosely as we throw that word around. It's about being solid, just being a solid point guard. You have different facets of point guards. Everybody want to be the D Rose type, super flashy, and John Morant. Everyone doesn't have that. And a lot of times that doesn't work out for running the ball club. You got to have that Jock Vaughn type of point guard, Mateen Cleaves type point guard, Monte Morris type point guard that you're going to be able to have that real adult out there that's going to run the ball club. And Tatum came in with a lot of maturity. I was extremely surprised how he's progressed since his freshman year. But to me, on that list, if my general is going to be eliminated, it would be Monte Morris.
I would agree. Monte and Tamin's career seems to be very similar to Monte. I remember watching Monte his freshman year. He'd get the ball out the top of the key, and you were waiting for him to shoot, and he would not shoot it. And I thought, what are you doing? But by that fourth year, he developed so much that, and what I loved about him is he didn't have to score 20 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
If you needed him to score 20, he would score 20. But more importantly, he would never turn the ball over. He'd get the ball in the right hands. And he was just that field general that you trusted with the ball and with the game on the line. And you can't put a price on that. And Hornacek was more of a scorer. Jamal had all the tools too. I mean, he could score and break it down. And he had some great talent around him as well. In Monte's team, they had a lot of George was on that team, and Bab was on that. You know, they had a lot of good, fun players that those teams were enjoyable to watch and made some NCAA tournaments. And Halliburton, I don't know that his career was ever finished because what was, I think, a 2-year window that he was in Ames. And one of those seasons he was injured for part of it. So it was almost an incomplete. So obviously he's taken off with the NBA and is a top vote getter for the NBA All-Star game, and he's having a phenomenal breakout season this year. But I don't know that the college version I would pick over the other guys. But Taman seems to be on that trajectory with Monte.
Yeah. You know, not to take anything away from Tyrese, you know, because he's more of that prototypical NBA point guard. You know, he's 6'4", 6'5", real long, tall, you know, can see over the defense. You can't get the ball from him. He can make those passes. And the NBA is so much easier compared to college in terms of defensive schemes, where you can go, where you can dribble the ball to. You definitely got better shooters. I mean, you know, you pass the ball out, you know, majority of the time it's going to be a basket if you got good shooters on the wings and stuff like that. So that really, really helps a lot. He's older, you know, that maturity progressing and things like that. His game is more suitable for the NBA, and that's why he was a high draft pick, and it's been translated right now.
All right. Well, I think that puts a wrap on this episode of In the Side of the Storm. Happy New Year. I forgot to say that to both of you. Can we still say Happy New Year?
Happy New Year.
That's it. Happy New Year. Hey.
Can we get away from that? Can we get away with that?
I've done a pretty good job. I've done a pretty good job in putting 24 on dates this year.
There you go.
And not right 23. You know,
wait, so you guys get all over me for being the old guy. Are you the one writing checks still?
Writing checks? No, I can tell you the last time me and my wife had checks. No, we eat this. No.
It does checks now. I hope not.
No, I don't. You got to pay for checks too.
Right, you really do.
Yeah, I think you do. I think we're all online. So, Brent, Marcus, good to see you. We'll see everyone next week. Thanks, everyone. Again, get out and support Gravitate Co-working and our friends at Rebelton Distillery, who continue to grow and expand and come out with some new products. We've got some additional shows coming up tomorrow night. In particular, we've got another edition of Old Man Strength. And for those of you who love those Cyclones, former Iowa State running back Mike Warren is going to be the guest on that show. So hope everyone can join Three Beards Media for Old Man Strength tomorrow night. And Brandon, Marcus, we will see you next week for another edition of In the Side of the Storm.
Peace.